All right, so all the holes are drilled. I'm gonna clean this up, clean up all this carbon fiber dust, and we'll see you guys tomorrow up in the garage. Welcome to the channel, guys. Today's video, we're installing the side skirts and the front lip. Let's get right into this one because it's gonna be a complicated one. So as you can see, I got the car already jacked up, got my side skirts and front lip. So let me show you what we're dealing with, because this is not gonna be a very simple install. So, as you know, I got bolts and nuts with washers. Most people just use self-tapping screws, but in this case, I don't want to go self-tapping screws and go the cheap way, because I just want to do it the right way, make sure it's holding on tight. So, as you can see, where this is going to be mounted, you know, there's no way to really reach my hand behind here so I could get the nut on top of that. So what I had to do was undo all these little clips that hold this so I could at least get my hand under there and get that nut on top, and then we're gonna be able to screw it down. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this area up. As you can see, scratches here. Well, it's not for me, probably previous owner, but this is going to be a little complicated, but nothing I can't handle, so let's get into it. Alright, the install is finished. Just kidding. I'm using some masking tape to kind of mark this up here to see what position I'm going to need it to be more or less in before we go and do some cuts and drills into this bumper. And the way I figured to make sure it's straight is I'm going to follow, as you can see, this is the lip, and then you have this bobby line that kind of lines up. So I'm going to line this up all the way through from front to back, drill my holes, and that should be the way I'm going to mount it. And that's the only way it's going to be nice and straight and flush. So let's drill some holes. So I drilled my first mounting hole, and then I just lightly push the bolt through, so when I go through and move the side skirt to be sure that it's straight with the rest of the piece down there, none of this moves on me. So that should be the best way to do it. Let's go ahead and drill this one out right here. Alright guys, the next step of this build is done. I got the bolts in, this one right here, and the one all the way in the front, right here, where they're very hard to get my hand all the way up under to get it in. But we got it in, so the next step is we're going to put the lip through this, put the washer, and then start tightening this all up. Got my washers, got my nuts. 5 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's go one by one and slowly start hanging this up. Wow, all right guys, so right there, the lip is on with its own will. Let me bring you in a little closer and show you. So you got the washer, you got the bolt on every single one of these. All right, so the next step is to tighten them up. I'm gonna put a little wrench behind so I could get the top of the nut and tighten them down. So we'll be back when it's tight and this side done. Woo-wee! I am a little out of breath, but it is finally installed. Have a look. Bam, look how good that looks, guys. Man. I mean, that looks freaking great. I love how the back flares out. Man, that looks so good. All right, so another piece of advice. I ended up using a few self-tappers in between where the bolts are, just so it could be nice and tight up here and have no gaps. So I did that, and this side is done. So repeat the same steps on the other side to get the side skirt in. Now let me work on the front, which I'm sure is going to be interesting as well, right? So we'll see together. All right, we are about 2 hours in. Both the side skirts are done. Now I'm trying to mock up the front lip, and we got issues. This lip does not conform to the shape of the front bumper, the undercarriage. So let me show you. So I got it mounted on one screw underneath here. There's a mounting hole right here. All right. But if you look at this, I mean, there's no freaking chance in hell that that hole is mounting to absolutely anything. And then we got two more, one screw right there and one right there, which that would sit like that, okay. But then you got that gap there, but I guess that's just how it's gonna have to be. Then you move in towards the middle here, and you have, you know, these two lip cutouts. If you look underneath, it almost looks like it's supposed to fit into place perfectly there, but it does not. I mean, this is, if you know, if they're in the groove how they're supposed to be, then this lip sticks out way too far. So this is how would I say this, very interesting. And then I got so much gap here. Well, I kind of expected this with a eBay lip, but I didn't think it was gonna be this off. So right now I'm just gonna mock it up, try to see what works before I start drilling into the bumper and making my cuts and whatnot. So I'll bring you guys back in once I figured out something better. All right. Finally finished. It is 2 o'clock. I started this project at 9 o'clock. Side skirts went super easy, simple, straightforward, no brainer. Anybody could do it. Front lip, biggest pain in my butt I've ever seen. Couple things I'm going to tell you guys. The areas where you have the little slots for pre-drilling the holes, do not pre-drill until you start mocking up to your car. Those holes do not align with anything on the car that you could mount it up to. So let me bring you in and show you what I've done here. So there it is. The lip is on. All right. As you can see, that's why I said do not pre-drill, because that's just gonna be there. I'm gonna probably put a piece of black tape so it's not visible, light doesn't go through there. But that's how that looks right there, the design. Even though this is the lip for this car, this area is not the perfect fitting, but I guess this might be just the design like that, so it has flow through here. Moving on, I managed to get this up and tight pretty well. That piece right there and this middle section are just horrible design, and the other side looks the same. But let's go underneath and show you what I did. So this one bolt mounts to the edge of this piece on the car, which is fine. This is a pre-drilled hole. This is a pre-drilled hole. And that is the pre-drilled hole, okay? That's the only pre-drilled hole that I drilled that works, which I mounted to the bottom of the bumper. These two, so these two holes right at the edge of the lip, I had to drill into so they could mount up to the piece that holds that. Same thing on the other side, as you could see. And then for these pieces right here, I just use some self-tappers to kind of hold it in place, and that's it. So let me give you a kind of walk around of how this looks. Just keep in mind it's a little dirty and whatnot, but you know, that's kind of how it looks. That, you know, that angle where the air goes through the car, that's the design of it, I guess. Not complaining. Like from this angle, man, it makes the car look so much more aggressive, so much sharper. I should have come with a lip for sure, because it just makes the front end pop so much more. Look at that. So front lip is done, guys. Looks good. Side skirts, I'm gonna clean this off, dust it off, wipe it down, make sure it's nice and clean. And yeah, this is the install of the side skirts and the front lip. Let me show you guys this side. That's the side that I've done off camera, because you don't need to see me doing the same thing left and right. But that's how that looks. Came out pretty good. All right. And most angles, the front lips looks very good, very decent. I'm gonna make sure all my bolts are tight, but like from this angle, perfect looking. Perfect, 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 perfect. So I am extremely pleased with how the final result came out. The install was a little difficult, but we managed to get it done. What can I say? Warmer weather coming, the wheels are next to be put on. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay up to date with all the future videos. And I appreciate every single subscriber. Thank you guys. Comment, like below. Let me know what you want to see next. Take care.